Hello and welcome into Mulcahy Stadium here in Anchorage, Alaska, where it's the Matsu Miners taking on the Peninsula Oilers in the first showcase game of two. One today, one tomorrow. Today's game will be started by Denver McQuarrie, as we'll see a lot of position players in a lot of different positions. Also, a lot of pitchers, a lot of changes will be going on. And as of now, the starting lineup for the Peninsula Oilers against Denver McQuarrie, leading things off out of Vacaville, California, and the University of Arizona, Bryce Bigell. Batting second from Princeton, Alabama, and Murray State University, Tyler Duke. From San Diego, California, and the University of San Diego, Michael York. He bats third. Batting fourth, Evan Berkey out of La Quinta, California, and Cal State Bakersfield. Batting fifth from Loveland, Ohio, and Moore State University, Matthew Kirk. Batting sixth from Los Angeles, California, and Beloit College, Bronson Balholm. Brian Wu, he bats seventh out of California, Alameda, California, and the California Polytechnic San Luis Obispo. Batting eighth, Grant Wood out of Jefferson City, Missouri, and Murray State University. Batting ninth, Calvin Ferris out of El Cajon, California, and Brown University. And on the mound for the Oilers, Erickson Fish from Sitka, Alaska, and Hope International. For the Miners, Denver McQuarrie, as the first pitch hits the outside corner against Bryce Bigell. This ball game is underway in front of 20-plus scouts here at Mulcahy Stadium. Second pitch on the way from Denver McQuarrie is low and away for ball one. 1-1 the count into Bryce Bigell. McQuarrie's pitching from the windup. Swung out a miss by Bigell. McQuarrie's ahead on the count. 1-2 strikes. Nobody out. Top of the first inning. And as we said, this game does not count really towards anything except it's in front of scouts, and a lot of people have a lot of eyes on these four teams in attendance. Swung on and missed, strike three. Denver McQuarrie sits down Bryce Bigell for the first out here in the showcase game. So a nice start for Denver McQuarrie.
Yeah, you just mentioned guys getting to show off, and especially some guys that may not get to see the scouts as often. Guys such as Connor Denning that attend a community college, not a big power or a big power five school. So definitely good for him to show off. And just guys simply getting here just recently, like Denver McQuarrie on the mound right now, who just participated in the College World Series, but now at a different level gets to show his stuff.
First pitch into Tyler Duke was in for a called strike. So McQuarrie really showcasing and hoping to make an impact on someone as this ball is grounded off and towards the left side from Tyler Duke. Miners so far in the season, they're 21-12 at the top of the ABL on a two-game winning streak. Over the last 10, 7-3. As the 0-2 pitch is swung on and missed, strike three. Denver McQuarrie sits down Bryce Bigell. Now Tyler Duke here on the top of the first inning. Two batters, two strikeouts.
Yeah, Denver's really pitching quite well right now to these Oilers hitters. And it was interesting to see in pregame that they started with sort of like a little league style warm up where they took infield after batting practice. So definitely trying to show the guys off and showcase their defensive abilities.
Now Michael York at the plate. He holds off on ball one. Fastball that missed a little outside. Second pitch on the way is a off-speed pitch, low and away. Two balls, no strikes, two outs here in the top of the first inning. Showcase game number one. McQuarrie's 2-0 is swung on and missed by Michael York. Two balls, one strike, and two outs.
McQuarrie's been a guy that has walked a lot of batters, especially in his past two seasons at Mississippi State. So that's something he's trying to focus on this summer, really trying to get down, throwing a lot of more strikes than balls.
The 2-1 is fouled off towards the left side and out of play. Count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes into Michael York. McQuarrie, 2 strikeouts so far in the showcase. The 2-2 is swung on and missed. A great debut in the showcase for Denver McQuarrie. 1, 2, 3 strikeouts as we're heading towards the Bottom of the first. Matsu Miners come to the plate for the first time when we return here on Matsu Miners Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet Broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
The Alaskan Railroad and Operation Lifesaver would like to remind our friends and neighbors when approaching a railroad crossing, always expect a train. Look, listen, live.
Hey, I'm Tyler Bassetti. I'm from Nevada, Reno, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Baseball.
It's bottom of the first inning. Erickson Fish on the mound for the Oilers, as we'll run through the minor starters today. Brady Merritt out of Chandler, Arizona, and the University of New Mexico will lead things off. Connor Denning follows him out of Phoenix, Arizona, Mesa Community College. Spencer Henson, the fixture in the lineup no matter what day it is. Henson bats third out of Locust Grove, Oklahoma, and Oral Roberts University. Nick Brooks, the cleanup batter out of Auburn, Washington, and Gonzaga. Josh Hatcher bats fifth from Albany, Georgia, Mississippi State. Danny Wright out of Dardenne Prairie, Missouri, and Southeast Missouri. Tyler Bassetti batting seventh out of Vacaville, California, and the University of Nevada, Reno. David Avitia, Phoenix, Arizona, and Grand Canyon University. And then followed by Tristan Woods out of Anchorage, Alaska. The top three for the Miners leading off in the bottom of the first. Brady Merritt, Connor Denning, and Spencer Henson. On the mound for the Oilers, Erickson Fish out of Sitka, Alaska, and Hope International. The Miners coaching staff, Ben Taylor, the manager, Jeff Erlab from Horizon High School in Phoenix. He is a pitching coach, Tyler Brunn, assistant coach out of Stony Slope High School, also in Phoenix, Arizona. Pete Christopher, the general manager, Bob Plumley, the assistant GM, and as always, Connor Mills and Brad Walker with you on the broadcast. So even though we are the home team, this is Mulcahy Stadium in Anchorage, Alaska, as this will be the place for the next 3 days. 2 showcase games, one against the Oilers, that's taking place right now, one against the Bucks tomorrow, and then the All-Star game. But before the All-Star game, a home run derby as the first pitch is inside to Brady Merritt.
Yeah, that home run should definitely be exciting. There's a lot of pop in this ABL league, so really it'll be fun to see what they can do.
It's like a pitch on the way, swung on and fouled up back and behind home plate, charging and trying to make the play was the catcher, Bryce Bauholm, or Bronson Bauholm, excuse me. The count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike into Brady Merritt.
Merritt, this is his first time leading off this season. So a bit of a new role, but he is quick. So if he can get some in play, it'll be tough on the defense.
The 1-1 is taken in the turf. 2 balls and 1 strike. Now into Merritt. And Merritt, batting on the season, .235, has 12 hits and 51 at-bats, 3 doubles, 4 RBIs. As a 2-1, this one is a jam job that gets a little flare shot over to first base. Michael York makes the catch.
Yeah, that fastball rode in on Merritt's hands, and he tried to get the bat around, but it was just a little bit late, therefore leading for that flare.
So Merritt retired on a F3. As now Connor Denning stands in at the plate. Denning only batting a .172 so far, 5 hits, 29 at-bats. Does have a double. 2 RBIs, 4 walks, and 4 strikeouts. As the first pitch from Fish into Denning is called a strike. 0-1 the count to Connor Denning out of Mesa Community College. The 0-1 swung on, line drive into center field. That will fall for a base hit. First hit of the ball game belongs to Connor Denning here in the bottom of the first inning.
And that's got to feel good. Sort of been struggling this Matsu minor season, but in front of the scouts, and maybe some scouts can call up to the big Division I colleges, in which we know Connor Denning, that's where he wants to take the next step after Mesa. So nice hit there from Connor Denning.
And after Denning follows Spencer Henson. Henson still remains second in the ABL in batting average at .349. Has 38 hits, 109 at-bats, 8 doubles, 1 triple, and 5 home runs. As he takes the first pitch outside for ball 1. Henson also leads the ABL in RBIs and is tied in home runs with 5. Connor Cook of the Oilers is also at the top for home runs. Second pitch inside, 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning between the Miners and the Oilers.
Henson's definitely been a nice spot in this Miners lineup, right in the middle, providing some big RBIs and a lot of hits of late.
The 2-0 swung on, line drive deep into left field. The left fielder falls down, and that'll fall for a base hit. So a hot shot off the bat for Spencer Henson. Calvin Ferris slipped down trying to get it, as that'll go down as a hit. So back-to-back hits, Connor Denning, Spencer Henson with Nick Brooks now at the plate.
And I noticed while the Miners were taking BP, Braden Merritt sort of slipped up in center, as there is some patches now we notice in left field, especially there's sort of a patch of spotty grass, and Calvin Ferris fell victim right there. So it works out for the Miners.
Nick Brooks batting from the right side. First pitch inside for ball 1. There are runners on first and second base here in the bottom of the first inning between the Miners and the Oilers. Erickson Fish, the starter. As of now, he's only queued up for the first 2 innings. Oilers do have a lineup plan for all their pitchers and position players. The 1-0 is taken low, 2 balls and no strikes with 1 out.
And wouldn't be surprised to see a lot more play out of the veteran guys coming out of college, a lot more juniors and graduated seniors in these next 2 days, trying to possibly get their last shot into the next step of their major league career, or their career trying to get to the major leagues.
2-0 count. Pitching to Nick Brooks is swung on, and this is popped up foul territory going on the right side. First baseman Michael Yorg is circling under it and makes the catch. Brooks retired on a foul out to the first baseman, as now there are 2 outs in the bottom of the first. 2 runners still remain, and Josh Hatcher now coming to the plate. Hatcher from Mississippi State, as they went deep into the College World Series this past spring. From the stretch, pitch from Fish, misses outside for ball 1. For Hatcher, batting .250 on the season, has 9 hits, 36 at-bats, 2 doubles, 4 RBIs, 5 walks, and 6 strikeouts. Has also stolen 2 bases. As the fastball hits the inside corner, count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike with 2 away here in the bottom of the first. No score between the Miners and the Oilers.
Even though this game doesn't necessarily count record-wise, obviously the Miners would like to get the win just for bragging rights. This is a game between the first and second place ABL teams. And the Miners have been playing the Oilers quite well this season.
The 1-1 is swung on and missed by Hatcher. Count goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 outs and 2 runners on.
Miners actually lead the season series 5-4 currently, after going 3 of 2 a few weekends ago in that 5-game stint in Kenai.
The 1-2 is swung on and fouled straight back. Hatcher stays alive at the plate. On second base, with the first hit of the game, is Connor Denning. On first with the second hit is Spencer Henson. The count, 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 away here in the bottom of the first to Josh Hatcher. From the stretch, Fisher's pitch is swung on a missed for strike 3. And down go the Miners here in the bottom of the first. No score, but 2 hits on no errors. 2 left on base. Nobody comes across. Denver McQuarrie coming back out to the mound as we head to the top of the second inning here at Mulcahy Stadium between the Mat-Su Miners and the Peninsula Oilers. You're listening to the Mat-Su Miners on the Miner Radio.
Mat-Su Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Mat-Su Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
Meals on Wheels America.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
This is Kona Quiggle, outfield infield from Grand Canyon University, and you're listening to Mat-Su Miners Radio.
It's the top of the second inning. Denver McQuarrie coming on for a second inning of work, as there's no score between the Mat-Su Miners and the Peninsula Oilers. Leading things off for the Oilers is Evan Berkey. Berkey, the designated hitter today, as this is showcase game number 1 here at Mulcahy Stadium. There'll be Berkey followed by Matthew Kirk and Bronson Ballholm. A perfect inning of work in the first for Denver McQuarrie. 3 strikeouts as he misses with the first pitch, 1 ball and no strikes into Evan Berkey.
Yeah, anytime you can strike out the side to begin the ball game, it's definitely going to have you feeling good heading into the dugout.
1-0 count from the windup. Pitch from McQuarrie. It's the low and outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike now. And for Berkey, 21 hits and 90 at-bats, has scored 10 times, batting .233 on the season. 2 doubles, 1 triple, and has a home run to his name as he takes this pitch in for a called strike. Denver McQuarrie ahead in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. For Berkey, also has 15 RBIs, 16 walks, and has struck out 15 times. The 1-2 is outside for ball 2.
Query was quite the athlete in high school, has the Mississippi State high school record in interceptions with 33 throughout his high school football career.
The 2-2 from McQuarrie almost hits Berkey. Count runs full. Here to lead off the top of the second.
And actually talking to Denver, he said it was a tough decision to make whether he wanted to play college football or baseball. Got offers in both sports.
Very talented athlete right there as Berkey swings and fouls it off towards the right side, out of play.
And that normally is a real key component when schools are looking at guys. They look to see if they play other sports. If so, are they excelling in them? Because if you can get more of a natural athlete, more likely he'll be able to transition to anything you'd like them to do.
3-2 the count. The pitch from Denver McQuarrie is on the outside corner. Strike 3 called. So that's the first strikeout looking, but the 4th of the day. Bryce Miguel, Tyler Duke, Michael York, and Evan Berkey have all faced off against Denver McQuarrie, and McQuarrie has sat him straight down. 4 straight strikeouts.
McQuarrie really feeling himself today. 4 straight strikeouts to begin this ball game, really trying to ball out in front of these scouts.
So Matthew Kirk batting in from the left side, takes the first pitch outside for ball 1. Right now in the standings, Miners at the top, Oilers are second, Bucks third, Pilots fourth, and the Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks they're in last. As the pitch misses low and inside, 2 balls and no strikes. Like we said, this game does not count for record standing stats whatsoever, but what it does do is showcase all the talents out on the field here at Mulcahy Stadium in front of 20-plus MLB scouts. 2 balls, no strikes. A pitch from Denver McQuarrie swung on, hit out into right field. That's the first hit for the Peninsula Oilers here in the top of the second inning. And that breaks up the strikeout streak. Evan Berkey was sit down by strikes to lead off the second. Matthew Kirk, the second batter up in the top of the second, was able to hit a line drive out into right field.
Yeah, normally when you're on a strikeout premises trying to get guys out, you leave some breaking balls over the plate, and that's just what happened to McQuarrie right there, and Kirk was all over it.
Bronson Ballholm, the catcher, now stands in as he takes the first pitch outside. We'll run through the defensive alignment for the Miners. Danny Wright, he's in left field. Braden Merritt, the center fielder. Nick Brooks, the man out in right field. Spencer Henson, man's third base today. Tyler Bassetti making his, I guess you could call it, first start at short. Connor Denning at second base, and Josh Hatcher at first. McQuarrie on the mound. David Avitia behind the plate as this fastball misses outside to Bronson Ballholm. 2 balls and no strikes. McQuarrie having a pitch from the stretch for the first time today as he sat down 4 straight, all on strikeouts. The 2-0 swung on and fouled off left side out of play. Matthew Kirk is on first base with the first single for the Oilers. As McQuarrie now pitches into Bronson Ballholm. 2-1 the count with 1 out. The pitch high, and David Avitia tried to snap down and throw it to first, something we've seen him do regularly over the season. Just the ball popped out of his glove.
Yeah, Avitia has been a real solid defensive catcher for the Miners. They're still waiting for his bat to come around. If that does, he could be a pretty dangerous guy for the Miners, but definitely a brick wall behind the plate, David Avitia is.
3 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Here in the top of the second, the pitch is swung on and fouled straight back. Count is full with only 1 away here in the top of the second inning. And for Bronson Ballholm, only 1 hit in 17 at-bats. And not much else going across the board. Does have 7 strikeouts. Also has not played a lot, only 7 games. 3-2 the count. The pitch from Denver McQuarrie is high and inside. That's the first walk of the season for Bronson Ballholm. Too bad it just does not count.
Yeah, and we mentioned earlier, that's been McQuarrie's sort of Achilles heel, is walking batters. And it's just shown right there. Just needs to settle into his own. Gave up the hit, now a walk, but can't put that behind him as he started out so hot. So want to get back to those tendencies.
Well, he couldn't have started out hotter than he did. 4 straight strikeouts. And then after that, Kirk had a single. Bronson Ballholm walked. And now Brian Wu stands in, the left-handed shortstop. Bats left, throws right as he swings through this McQuarrie fastball. No balls and 1 strike into Brian Wu. And then for the Miners, Brian Wu has been a gift for them. On the mound, only 1 out recorded. 12 runs scored across. As on the run was Matthew Kirk from second to third. Ball bounced in the dirt to David Avitia, so no throw down to Kirk at third. Runners are at the corners here in the top of the second with no score between the Mat-Su Miners and the Peninsula Oilers.
Yeah, a little bit of adversity right now for McQuarrie with runners on the corners. It'll be interesting to see how he'll do. He's been thrown in a tough spot like this before in relief, but not really as a starter too much.
1-1 the count. The pitch in from McQuarrie, ground ball right back to him. Looks back at second for 1. The turn in time. A 1-6-3 double play gets Denver McQuarrie out of the top of the second inning. Scoreless between the Mat-Su Miners and the Peninsula Oilers. When we return, the Miners will come to the plate in the bottom of the second. You're listening to the Mat-Su Miners on the Miner Radio.
Mat-Su Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Mat-Su Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
Hey, y'all, I'm Blake Shelton. I love that country music connects people all over this great nation, but unfortunately, so does something else: childhood hunger. 15 million children struggle with hunger in America. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks works to rescue our surplus food to help provide billions of meals to families in need across the country. Join the fight against hunger at feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
What's up, guys? This is Spencer Henson, infielder at Oral Roberts University, and you're listening to Mat 2 Miners Radio.
It's the bottom of the second inning here at Mulcahy Stadium between the Mat-Su Miners and the Peninsula Oilers. Showcase Game 1. As there's no score. Leading things off for the Miners will be Danny Wright. He'll be followed by Tyler Bassetti and then David Avitia. Still on the mound, Erickson Fish. Fish is 1-2 on the season, a ERA of 5.23. Has appeared in 10 games, has not started any of them. So this would be technically his first start of the season, just will not count officially. 22 1/3 of an innings pitched, 12 strikeouts to 9 walks. As first pitch swinging as a switch hitter, Danny Wright out of Southeast Missouri.
And yeah, when we talk about guys getting looks in different spots, starting pitching, something Fish hasn't really done much this season or at all. So we get to see what he can do when he's on the mound from the beginning.
Second pitch in, swung on, and just below us. Luckily, that hits the netting below the wooden outline around the press box. No balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Bottom of the second inning. Danny Wright leading things off for the Miners. Erickson Fish pitching from the windup. He's ready and deals. Swung on. This one's poked out into left center field, giving the center fielder Tyler Duke some trouble diving, and he cannot make the play. Danny Wright on his horse rounding second base. He's heading for third. The ball is now being thrown into the infield on a couple hops to third baseman Grant Wood. Danny Wright gets things started here in the bottom of the second inning with a leadoff triple.
Yeah, real nice hit there from Danny Wright, hitting it oppo field in the gap. But wonderful effort there from Tyler Duke. He soared for that one, but unfortunately just his arms weren't long enough to grab that one. So Danny Wright getting things going here with the bang in the second inning. As we mentioned, this game doesn't count towards record-wise, but something the Miners want to win for bragging rights facing the second-place Oilers.
And now coming to the plate, Mr. Walk-Off, Tyler Bassetti. He walked us off against the Anchorage Bucks just last night. As he's first pitch swing, a flare shot out into right field, shallow. That falls for a base hit. In comes Danny Wright to score. Tyler Bassetti going to try and go to second base where he'll be thrown out, head first sliding. But that breaks the scoreless inning. It's the Miners 1, the Peninsula Oilers nothing. Here in the showcase game. So Bassetti gets the job done, being aggressive, rounding first, as he listened to Tyler LeBrun, the first base coach. A lot of people just standing around trying to figure out where to throw the ball. They finally threw it into second base and got Bassetti.
Yeah, it was a weird spot that ball dropped. And as Bassetti rounded first, he was kind of thinking about it, but didn't second guess himself and just went with his gut diving in. Can't blame him for being aggressive, especially after he just did draw in a run.
So Bassetti, an RBI single, will be thrown out at second. Danny Wright comes in to score. It's the Miners 1, the Peninsula Oilers nothing. David Aviti at the plate out of Grand Canyon University. First pitch was in for a called strike. The last pitch just low for ball 1. For David, had a rough go of it at the plate so far this season as he swings through Erickson Fish's pitch. 1 ball and 2 strikes. For Avitia, 9 hits, 56 at-bats. Does have 2 doubles, 4 RBIs, 7 walks, and 12 strikeouts. As the pitch from Fish bounces in the turf into Bronson Balholm. Count evens itself out. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Danny Wright led things off. Tyler Bassetti hit him in. There is 1 out. As a pitch in to David Aviti misses outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 1 away. From the windup, Erickson Fish, the pitch. Swung on and foul tipped into the glove of Bronson Balholm. Second strikeout on the day for Fish. First one for Avitia. Tristan Woods. Woods has only appeared in 2 games this entire season. A little rough go of it at the plate, 0 for 5 and 5 strikeouts. As he makes contact here on the first pitch, fouls it off towards the left side and out of play. No balls and 1 strike. With 2 outs here in the bottom of the second, Miners lead the Oilers in the showcase game 1-0. Second pitch in from Fish into Woods is taken on the outside corner. Fish quickly ahead, no balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, Tristan, one of the local Alaska guys on this team, came in early in the season, provided some nice work out in the outfield, and has been a nice team guy in the locker room.
The 0-2 is swung on a miss, strike 3. Woods goes down swinging, but not before the Mat-Su Miners take a 1-0 lead over Erickson Fish and the Peninsula Oilers here at Mulcahy Stadium. It's a showcase game between the Miners and Oilers. You're listening to the Mat-Su Miners on the Miner Radio.
Mat-Su Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Mat-Su Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
The Alaskan Railroad and Operation Lifesaver would like to remind our friends and neighbors when approaching a railroad crossing, always expect to train. Look, listen, live.
This is Aaron Walters from Texas A&M University. I'm a catcher, infielder, and you're listening to Mat-Su Miners Radio.
It's the top of the third inning between the Mat-Su Miners and the Peninsula Oilers. Miners hold a 1-0 lead here in the showcase game, and now on the mound for the Miners since first time since June 11th. Hank Boyer, number 13 out of Wasilla, Alaska, and Dawson Community College. Boyer so far, no wins, no losses, a perfect ERA. Has appeared in 2 games, both in relief appearances, and 1 2/3 of an innings pitched. Also has 1 walk.
Hank, definitely a character, always a mainstay in those celebrations out of the Electric Factory, provides a lot of energy for this Miners team, and really loves playing here up here in Alaska. His home, in which he really excelled in high school, Connor, was a great pitcher coming out of Wasilla High School.
A great pitcher indeed as he looks to make his mark in the showcase game. The book has been closed on Denver McQuarrie. His first pitch from Hank Boyer misses to Grant Wood outside.
Boyer actually in high school threw a perfect game in 5 innings. Only took him 53 pitches to do so. So it's pretty cool to say that you've thrown a perfect game before.
As the last pitch misses low and away. Hank, very talented pitcher as the third pitch is swung on and found back. Hits Grant Wood in the helmet. Bounces in front of the plate. VT picks it up, throws it back to Boyer. 2 balls and 1 strike into Grant Wood from Hank Boyer. Swung on. This one's popped up. Foul territory. VT with the mask off. Hatcher coming in. Calls him off for the first out. So the first out has been recorded for Hank Boyer and the Mat-Su Miners here in the top of the third inning.
Boyer has a pretty nasty curveball that can really fool hitters. It did right there as Wood dropped the shoulder, therefore causing the fly out. So don't be surprised to see the curveball working a lot today.
First pitch into Calvin Ferris is in there for a called strike. And as we said, the last time Hank Boyer appeared on the mound for the Miners was against the Chinooks away at Lee Jordan Field. His second pitch swinging is Calvin Ferris. Hank Boyer ahead in the count, no balls, 2 strikes, with 1 away here in the top of the third. Against the Chinooks, he pitched 2/3 of an inning, allowed 1 hit in 3 batters faced. The 0-2 is taken high from Ferris. 1 ball and 2 strikes now the count. For Denver McQuarrie, who started this game as the 1-2 is on the way, a check swing by Ferris. He did not go around, as they will not appeal. 2-2. Now the count. The pitch from Boyer. Taken on the outside corner. Strike 3 called. Boyer drops the hammer with the breaking pitch.
Yeah, that was quite the beauty. Ferris, the left-handed hitter, that one started in the right-hander's batter's box, and then just at the last minute dipping in, just said Hank Boyer's got a pretty nasty curveball, and it showed off right there.
Absolutely, it did. It's now the top of the lineup for the Oilers as Bryce Miguel, who struck out against Denver McQuarrie, stands in. There's the curveball from Boyer, taken on the outside corner for a called strike. It's 0-1 into Bryce Miguel.
And that pitch against Ferris, that's almost a near impossible pitch to hit, that diving in on that lower outside corner. It's not surprising he held off.
Boyer really having his breaking stuff today. No balls and 2 strikes. With 2 away here in the top of the third. The 0-2 into Bryce Miguel is swung on and fouled off towards the right side. Before anything else happens, we'll tell you what Denver McQuarrie did today. 2 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts for Denver McQuarrie, as now Hank Boyer stands on the mound. Pitching from the stretch, Boyer's pitch. The 0-2 swung on, ground ball over to third. Henson has it, takes his time, throws it to first. A 1-2-3 inning for Hank Boyer and the Mat-Su Miners. They have a 1-0 lead over the Peninsula Oilers here at Mulcahy Stadium. We're listening to the Mat-Su Miners on the Miner Radio.
Mat-Su Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Mat-Su Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use like anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes. Hey, bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
This is David Avitia from Grand Canyon University. I'm a catcher, and this is Mat-Su Miners Baseball.
It's the bottom of the third inning. Miners coming up to the plate. Braden Merritt, Connor Denning, Spencer Henson all due up against the new pitcher, Trey Brown, as Miners have a 1-0 lead over the Oilers. Erickson Fish today went 2 innings, allowed 4 hits, 1 run. It was earned. No walks and 3 strikeouts. As now Trey Brown is on the mound. Brown, according to the lineup card, this will be his only inning of work, as it'll be Brown, Amerheim, and Lopez for the next 3 innings. First pitch, Braden Merritt lays down a bunt, goes foul. No balls and 1 strike.
Merritt's been really working on that drag punt for the most part this year and has done quite a nice job of doing so in BP. We've seen it a few times on the field. Fortunately, hasn't been able to do it for a hit yet, but it really helps in sack bunt situations.
So 0-1 the count into Braden Merritt, who flew out to the first baseman Michael Jorg his first time up. The 0-1 is taken on the outside corner for a called strike. So Braden Merritt behind in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. pitch from Brown. Taken high for ball one. Trey Brown out of Bonita, California, the San Diego State University, where he was a sophomore. Is 2-0 on the season, a 1.8 ERA, all coming in relief appearances. 11 of them. There's the 1-2 is swung on and fouled straight back from Braden Merritt. Count remains 1-2.
Brown's definitely been a pretty good reliever for this Oilers team. The minors have seen him a few times. He's done quite a nice job cutting the minors lineup up.
Brown has 1 save on the season in 20 innings pitched. As a 1-2 is jabbed at by Braden Merritt, who fouls it off towards the left side and out of play. 1-2, the count remains. 20 innings, 18 strikeouts to 6 walks, has allowed 20 hits. Last appearance came in 2 days ago, July 11th, against the Pilots. As a 1-2 is swung on, ground ball over to third. Michael York has it, steps on first, a 3 unassisted for Braden Merritt here in the bottom of the third inning. Connor Denning, who had the first hit of the game, switch hitter out of Mesa Community College, stands in with 1 out here in the bottom of the third.
Yeah, he's definitely batted from the left side a lot more this season, much like his fellow switch hitter Danny Wright, seeing a lot of right-handed pitchers. But this is a very lefty-heavy lineup, usually for the Miners.
First pitch into Connor Denning, just a bit outside for ball one. Denning, his first time up, had a single right back up the chute into center field. 1 ball, no strikes. Brown pitching from the stretch. He deals outside. 2 balls and no strikes now. It looks like pitching coach Jeff Erlab is replacing Tyler LeBron out on the base paths right now. Manager Ben Taylor still at third base. Pitch from Brown swung on and missed by Denning. Count is at 2 balls and 1 strike. Over the Kenai trip, we did see pitching coach Jeff Erlab take over first base duties as LeBron was away at his own brother's wedding.
Yeah, definitely. Family always comes first, even in baseball.
A check swing. He went around. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out here in the bottom of the third inning, with the Miners up 1-0 over the Peninsula Oilers. Connor Denning at the plate. Brown's pitch taken all the way, low and away for ball 3. Count runs full to Connor Denning.
Denning, definitely a talented infielder out of Mesa Community College. Was actually a junior college All-American this past spring. So definitely a lot of talent trying to work his way up to that D1 level.
And 3-2 swung on, ground ball over to York at first base, who runs over another first base unassisted for the Peninsula Oilers here in the bottom of the third inning.
Yeah, Brown doing a nice job of getting the Miners to ground out.
Spencer Henson, who had the second hit for the Miners, as he followed Dennings back in the first inning. Henson, as we said, batting .349 on the season.
Henson's done even more important than his bat. Has definitely been a great leader for this Miners team, really, in teaching the young guys about the grind and how to lead teams.
As he swings at the off speed from Trey Brown. No balls and 1 strike. For Henson, over the past week, batting .308. Also has 3 home runs of his 5 coming in the last 7 days. As the 0-1 is swung on and missed in the outside corner. So Trey Brown ahead on Spencer Henson. No balls, 2 strikes with 2 away here in the bottom of the third inning, with the Miners up on the Oilers by a score of 1-0. Brown from the stretch. He deals. Swung on. Ground ball towards the hole along the left side. Shortstop Brian Wu makes the throw. It's picked by Jorg at first, but in time to get Spencer Henson. The Matsu Miners go down 1-2-3 here in the bottom of the third inning, but they still have the lead. It's Matsu 1, Peninsula nothing, as we're heading into the top of the fourth inning. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
The Alaska Railroad and Operation Lifesaver would like to remind our friends and neighbors when approaching a railroad crossing, always expect a train. Look, listen, live.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Brady Corrigan, right-handed pitcher from Arizona State, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
It's the top of the fourth inning between the Miners and the Oilers. Miner having a 1-0 lead over the Oilers in this showcase game at Mulcahy Stadium. Connor Mills, Brad Walker with you on the call. We're only going 7 today, as Jake Terry has now taken the mound in relief of Hank Boyer. Boyer perfect again in 1 inning. No hits, no runs, no walks, and 1 strikeout. As Jake Terry now takes the mound. He will face Tyler Duke, Michael Yorg, and Evan Berkey at the plate. Does not look like the Miners have any defensive substitutions, as you never know what could happen in a showcase game. Throw down from Avitia, right on the money, as we're about ready to get the top of the fourth started. Terry out of Sand Springs, Oklahoma, 6'4", 193 pounds. Also attends Oklahoma University. 1-1 in the season, a 4.15 ERA, has appeared in 5 games, started 2 of them. 13 innings pitched, 12 strikeouts to 11 walks, and has allowed 7 hits. As now he's ready and deals into Tyler Duke, whose first pitch swing fouls it straight back over the press box. And we're underway here in the top of the fourth.
Jake Terry, a live personality in this Miners clubhouse, always seems to be joking around and having a great time.
As this one's grounded towards a hole on the left side, Henson cuts off Bassetti, makes a throw, and it's not in time. So Spencer Henson going a long way, trying to get the momentum on his side to throw out Tyler Duke. He was unable to do so, as now there's a infield single for the Oilers here in the top of the fourth.
That'd have been a tough play for Spencer Henson or Tyler Bassetti, as it was a slow roller, both requiring a strong throw, moving at sort of awkward angles. So real tough play for Spencer Henson, but great effort in trying to do so.
So Duke's on first with a infield single. Michael Yorg at the plate. Yorg, first time up, struck out against Denver McQuarrie. As now he checks the swing, but holds it against Jake Terry. 1 ball, no strikes, and nobody out here in the top of the fourth inning.
We've seen Jake Terry sort of start the season in a starting role, but has since been moved to the bullpen in more of long relief outings.
1-0 count. The pitch swung on, fouled straight back off of the face mask of David Avitia. That's a long bounce and went all the way back to Terry on the mound. So that got a good piece. Now they inspect the ball at home plate between Avitia and home plate umpire Brad Polk, the officiating crew today. Umpires Josh Nolan at third, James Purnell at second base, Scott Johnston at first, with Brad Polk behind the plate. The 1-1 is taken in the turf. Vita quickly bounces out of his crouch to pick it up and fire it back. Has to make sure Tyler Duke does not go anywhere.
Yeah, as a catcher, you always want to block the ball in front of you, so it's always in sight. So that way, if you could pick it up and the runner does go, it's a much easier throw.
2-1 the count to Michael Yorg. Terry out of the stretch, swung on and missed by Yorg. 2 balls and two strikes now.
Nice high fast, well upstairs. That's a tough pitch to hit.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Miners up 1-0. Jake Terry, the pitch on the run and hitting it up the middle. Diving was Bassetti, but he's not going to be able to get it. Michael York with a single going from first to third is Tyler Duke. Runners at the corners against Jake Terry here in the top of the 4th inning as York picks up a base hit.
Yeah, it's tough to go first to third on a single, but it makes it a lot easier if you're already on the move. And because of that, Tyler Bassetti was just in reach of it, but couldn't quite make the diving grab.
Now, Evan Berkey, the designated hitter, stands in. David Avitia makes the infield aware of what's going on. Jake Terry pitching from the stretch. Runners at the corners. Top of the 4th inning and nobody out. First pitch into Berkey's off speed and hits the outside corner.
And for the second time today, the Miners with runners on the corners, or rather the Oilers with runners on the corners.
First time they've really threatened since the 2nd inning as the ball is blocked by Avitia at the plate. 1-1 the count into Evan Berkey. Tyler Duke's on third base. He got on with a single against Terry. Then Michael York followed suit. Duke was on the run, so he took third easily. 1-1 the count into Berkey. The pitch from Terry swung on. A chopper over to Spencer Henson, who goes to second base for 1. On the tag is Bassetti. The throw is a little in front. Excuse me, that's Connor Denning. So Denning covered second base. The throw was in front of him as he had to go in and then tag Michael York. Evan Berkey is on first with the fielder's choice and an RBI ground out. This ball game is tied up at 1 between the Miners and the Oilers.
Yeah, Denning, not quite sure if he was on the bag or not with that, but to be sure, he tagged the runner just in case.
On the run is Evan Berkey. The throw down from Avitia is a strong throw, and he got him. Second base umpire James Parnell with the caught stealing from David Avitia down to Tyler Bassetti. So Avitia throws out another one in this season.
Yeah, he does. Real strong arm David Avitia has. Didn't get to showcase it off too much this past spring at Grand Canyon, playing more of a backup role. But this season, it's been thrown in the mix a lot, and he's played it very well in that situation.
So now there are 2 away, and Matthew Kirk at the plate, who swings through and fouls it back. 1-1 the count. For the Oilers, 1 run on 3 hits. For the Miners, 1 run on 4 hits. As we're here in the top of the 4th inning, ball game tied. Jake Terry from the windup now. The pitch is check swing. Brad Polk says he went around. So Terry ahead, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Should Kirk keep this inning alive, Bronson Bauholm would be the next batter up. Terry's ready. And the pitch swung on a miss by Matthew Kirk. Jake Terry gets a strikeout on the day as the Peninsula Oilers score 1 against Terry here in the top of the 4th. Ball game tied between the Miners and the Oilers at 1. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
The Alaskan Railroad, an Operation Lifesaver, would like to remind our friends and neighbors when approaching a railroad crossing, always expect a train. Look, listen, live.
This is Aaron Walters from Texas A&M University. I'm a catcher, infielder, and you're listening to Matthew Miners Radio.
It's the bottom of the fourth inning. Ball game time between the Peninsula Oilers and the Matsu Miners. Here at a showcase game at Mulcahy Stadium. Now taking the mound is Matt Ammerheim, who comes in relief for their pitcher, Trey Brown. Brown went one inning and zeros across the board. No hits, no runs, no walks, and nobody struck out. As Ammerheim will be tasked with dealing with Nick Brooks, Josh Hatcher, and Danny Wright. Erickson Fish started off this game, went 2 innings, allowed 4 hits, a run, was earned, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. Then it went to Trey Brown, and now Matt Ammerheim. Ammerheim on the season out of Upland, California, and Cal Baptist University, where he was a sophomore, is 2-0, a 0.87 ERA, coming in as a reliever. Appeared in 4 games, 10 1/3 of an innings pitched, 8 strikeouts, 2 walks, and has allowed 3 hits on the season. Nick Brooks digs in, kicks some turf pellets around. We're about ready to get things started here on the bottom of the 4th inning.
Brooks is a guy who's really looking forward to this weekend. Just a recent graduate of Gonzaga, unfortunately went undrafted in this past year's draft, so trying to show off his stuff in front of these scouts this weekend and then maybe get a late sign.
First pitch off the side armor, swung on, a hot shot to shortstop. Brian Wu makes the play. A 6-3 put out for Nick Brooks. 1 pitch, 1 out for Matt Ammerheim.
Ammerheim with that real sidearm approach that proved to work well against this Miners team in that fast 5-game series in Kenai. We'll see how they do against it today.
Josh Hatcher, first pitch swing, swings through. Ammerheim ahead in the count. No balls and 1 strike. Last time Ammerheim appeared on the mound was on July 11th against the Pilots, where he was the winning pitcher of record. As the 0-1 is on the way, swung on and fouled straight back. Sounds like it hit a pole. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 away here in the bottom of the 4th with the ball game tied between the Miners and the Oilers.
It's got to be tough for these Miners hitters, seeing pretty much a new pitcher every inning, so they can't really find new grooves or ways to hit a certain pitcher.
The 0-2 taking a breaking ball low and inside as a throwback from Bronson Bauholm goes over the head of Ammerheim. Retrieving it, Brian Wu, and throwing it back in. Hatcher, first time up, struck out against Erickson Fish. As now he was down in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes to Matt Ammerheim. The 1-2 taken outside for ball 2. For Hatcher, one of the late Miners to come up to Alaska, as Mississippi State went a long way into the College Baseball World Series.
Yeah, it was definitely neat to have some guys from that experience. They can share it with other guys to maybe motivate them to have their teams head to Omaha.
As Michael York dives on the play, Ammerheim covers first in time for the out. Hatcher hit it hard, just not hard enough to get past the diving York at first base.
We mentioned seeing newer pitchers. This is much like sort of an all-star game, but just obviously with the same 2 teams. Normally see a starter go at least 4 or 5 innings, and you'll see them a few times, but today you're only going to see every single pitcher once, so it's hard to just kind of get a read kind of what they're feeling like that day, where pitches are working for them and what aren't. So you can't really scout too much and just hope for the best up there.
0-1 the count to Danny Wright, and Wright, on when he was behind in the count, hit a triple out into left center field as he swings, lines this one along the right side. Second baseman Bryce Bigel has it, throws over in time for the 3rd out of the inning. Miners go down 1-2-3 against Matt Ammerheim in the bottom of the 4th. We're heading towards the top of the 5th. Ball game tied at 1. We're only going 7 today here on Matsu Miners Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use like anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes. Hey bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
It's Josh Hatcher here, infield outfield from Mississippi State University, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
It's the top of the fifth inning. Jacob Butcher comes on to the mound with the ball game tied up at 1. It's a showcase game here at Mulcahy Stadium. So far, Denver McQuarrie, Hank Boyer, Jake Terry have all appeared on the mound. Now it's time for Jacob Butcher. Butcher out of Palmer, Alaska, and Minnesota Crookston. So far on the season, 0 for 1. No wins, 1 loss, a ERA of 5.87 in 4 games. Has started one of them. 7 2/3 of innings pitched, 2 strikeouts to 5 walks, and 11 hits. It's his job to get through Bronson Bauholm, Brian Wu, and Grant Wood here on the top of the 5th inning.
Butcher, a real veteran guy on this minor squad, has been on a few championship winning teams, so he knows what it takes to win here in the ABL. He's been sharing his wisdom with the guys and also some just past experiences on how seasons have went, how teams compare to other teams. And he's been a real fun guy, much like I feel like we've said that's about everyone on the team, but really meshes well with this season's squad.
So Jacob Butcher's first pitch into Bronson Bauholm misses low and away for ball 1. Jake Terry's day is done. 1 inning. Had 2 hits, 1 run. It was earned. No walks and 1 strikeout as the 1-0 is swung on and fouled off towards the left side, giving chase are the 3 on the left side. Spencer Henson, third baseman, shortstop Ty Bassetti, and the left fielder Danny Wright. They run out of room. That goes out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike, nobody out. Here on the top of the 5th, Bauholm swings through and fouls it straight back. 1-2.
Butcher attending Colony High School, which is right down the road from Herman Brothers Field in Palmer, Alaska. So grew up, he said he hosted some Matsu Miners players, and it's an absolute dream playing for the Miners today.
Butcher pitching from the stretch, and he deals to Bauholm. Swing and a ground ball, a high chopper over to Tyler Bassetti, who makes a play. Routine 6-3 for the first out here on the top of the 5th inning. With that, Brian Wu, the sometimes pitcher, sometimes hitter for the Peninsula Oilers. The Miners have taken a liking to him as a pitcher. As we said, 12 earned runs and only 1/3 of an inning pitched.
Yeah, and in those 2 starts, Brian Wu just definitely has trouble getting Miners out.
First pitch from Jacob Butcher is swung on, grounded into foul territory along the right field line. The first base coach for the Peninsula Oilers, Ronaldo Sanchez, was able to get a hand on that. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out. The pitch from Butcher, little low for ball 1.
Brian Wu is a high school guy, just recently graduated this past spring. So obviously is committed to Cal Poly, I should mention, for next spring.
Butcher's pitch is lined out into shallow right field for a base hit for Brian Wu. The first batter reaches base here in the top of the 5th inning with the Miners and Oilers. Butcher will now face Grant Wood. And Wood, his first time up, popped up to the first baseman. Right-hander stands in, takes first pitch high and away for ball one. Outfield straight away against Grant Wood. Infield playing double play depth. Josh Hatcher holding on. Brian Wu's a breaking ball gets over on the inside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike with 1 away here in the top of the 5th. We're only going 7 innings in today's showcase game. Those are only 2 away as the pitch from Butcher into Wood is fouled off and over the press box. 1-2 the count with 1 out. From the stretch, Butcher's ready, and he deals. Breaking ball that bounces a little distance away from Viti, is able to run up and get it. Count goes even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Spencer Henson playing behind the bag over at third base. As the 2-2 is on the way, taken on the outside corner. Strike 3 called. Jacob Butcher sits down. Grant Wood looking. As now coming up to the plate will be Calvin Ferris.
Miners with 6 strikeouts now combined through 4 pitchers. So an average of each pitcher getting a strikeout, and 3 out of the 4 have.
Calvin Ferris, he struck out looking back in the 3rd inning to Hank Boyer. As his first pitch swing, backhanded by Josh Hatcher. 1 pitch, 1 out, and that's the end of the top of the 5th for the Miners. They have 1 run. The Oilers, they got 1-2 as we're heading into the bottom of the 5th inning. Miners bats come to the plate. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
The Alaskan Railroad and Operation Lifesaver would like to remind our friends and neighbors when approaching a railroad crossing, always expect to train. Look, listen, live.
Hey y'all, I'm Blake Shelton. I love that country music connects people all over this great nation, but unfortunately so does something else, childhood hunger. 15 million children struggle with hunger in America. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks works to rescue our surplus food to help provide billions of meals to families in need across the country. Join the fight against hunger at feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Caleb Van Blake, infielder from UC Davis, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
Bottom of the 5th inning. We're only going 7 here today for the showcase game at Mulcahy Stadium. Ball game tied up at 1. Tyler Bassetti will lead things off against Andrew Lopez. Lopez, 2 wins, no losses, a 1.54 ERA in 13 games, all coming in relief appearances. 1 save on the season, 23 1/3 of an innings pitched, 21 strikeouts, 13 walks, and 20 hits. Lopez will face at least Tyler Bassetti, David Avitia, and Tristan Woods. The Miners' last inning went 1-2-3 with Brooks, Hatcher, and Wright. As now Bassetti, who had an RBI single, got thrown out trying to stretch it to a double in his first at-bat. Take a ball away. 1 ball, no strikes. Working fast is Lopez. This one hits the outside corner. 1-1 now the count. 1-1 from Lopez. Taken in for a called strike, a good-looking breaking ball, as Bassetti is 1 for 1 on the day. Knocked in the only RBI for the Miners. The 1-2 swung on a missed. A high fastball got Bassetti chasing. That's first out here on the bottom of the 5th inning.
Bassetti for a bit there was struggling with the strikeouts, but of late has been doing a great job of really putting the ball in play and not striking out as much. But unfortunately, Lopez gets the better of him.
Lopez comes in, gets 1 strikeout as he misses low and away now to David Avitia. And for David, he struck out against Erickson Fish. That happened in the 2nd inning.
And Lopez has definitely been a dominant arm for this Oilers bullpen against the Miners this season. He's come on multiple times against Matsu.
As 1-0 hits the outside corner, 1 ball and 1 strike is now the count. David Avitia at a Grand Canyon University, as now Angel Lopez working quickly. Hits the low portion of the strike zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. From the windup, Lopez's pitch is swung on and missed. 2 batters up, 2 batters down via the strikeout for Andrew Lopez and the Peninsula Oilers.
Lopez, coming into this game, had went 8 2/3 against the Miners without allowing any runs. So he can continue that streak today, but it won't count, so it'll just stay at 8 2/3, even if Lopez pitches the rest of the game.
Tristan Woods comes to the plate, and Lopez is not slated to pitch the rest. It will be Rick Lefts and then Jaime for the last 2 innings. As the 1-0 or the 0-1 is on the way, breaking ball hits the outside corner. No balls and 2 strikes with 2 away for Tristan Woods. The 0-2 swung on and chopped foul on left side. Should Woods continue this inning, on deck is Braden Merritt. Everybody up in the Miners bullpen on the fence as the 0-2 is on the way, swung on and missed, but this one gets away from the catcher, Bronson Bauholm. Woods heading to first. He'll go standing. Tristan Woods reaches base for the first time this season, but mark that, his 7th strikeout, only 5 counts. Struck out in the 2nd, struck out here in the 5th, but he reaches base on a wild pitch.
And Woods has been out of baseball for a few years, so it's definitely hard coming back, especially facing the talent that the ABL shows.
On a bunt, Braden Merritt beats it out. An infield single. First pitch, Merritt bunts it into no man's land between the pitcher and the catcher, Angel Lopez and Bauholm.
Merritt with an excellent bunt there. Did a really nice job of placing it a slow roller in between the pitcher's mound and catcher. Bauholm decided to go with it and sort of slipped on his back foot. May not have gotten Merritt with a good throw because of Merritt's speed, but the slip definitely didn't help things.
So now Connor Denning at the plate. He's 1 for 2. Now with 2 runners on base. First pitch from Andrew Lopez from the stretch is in for a called strike. Tristan Woods, he's on second base. Braden Merritt is on first. This ball game is tied between the Miners and the Oilers, all tied up at 1. Second pitch in, the fastball misses away to Connor Denning. 1 ball and 1 strike, now with 2 away. Should Connor Denning continue the inning, Spencer Henson is on deck. 1-1. The off-speed pitch in for a called strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes now.
Yeah, real nice pitch there from Lopez. Has that breaking ball working. Primarily likes to go with that breaking ball opposed to his fastball late in counts. So we'll see what he chooses to do right now against Connor Denning.
Denning, the switch hitter, batting on the left side. The 1-2 swung on, fouled off over near the manager, Ben Taylor. Outfield playing Denning straight away. Center field playing a little shallow, maybe middle of center, as we've seen him deeper. And Connor Denning does have a lot of pop off his bat. The 1-2 on the way, swung on and missed. 4-3. 4 strikeouts in the inning for Andrew Lopez. Only 3 of them count for outs. So for the Miners, they got 2 on. Could not get them across as we're heading to the top of the 6th inning. Ball game tied at 1 between the Miners and the Oilers as you're listening to the Mat-Su Miners on the Miner Radio.
Mat-Su Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Mat-Su Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use like anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes. Hey, bro, toss.
I'm Josh Haley, left-handed pitcher from the University of Arizona, and you're listening to Mat-Su Miner Radio.
Nolan Monahan, the new arm on the mound, as we're here on the top of the 6th inning. Ball game tied up at 1 in the showcase at Mulcahy Stadium. Connor Mills, Brad Walker with you, as always. A throwdown has been made by Aviti, and we're about ready to get things started. Monahan comes in relief of Jacob Butcher, who goes 1 inning, allows a hit, but not much else, does get 1 strikeout. As now it's Monahan's turn to show the scouts what he can do. Nolan from Wasilla, Alaska, 6'1", 180 pounds, out of Feller River Community College in California. As first pitch, swinging by Bigel, is grounded over to short. Tyler Bassetti has it, throws over in time for the first out here in the top of the 6th inning.
Nolan, when he does start, doesn't necessarily go a big amount of innings, but he's very productive in the innings he's in, always does his job. Coach Ben Taylor always speaks volumes, saying whenever we ask Nolan to do something, he's always on par. So really interesting to see what he can do today.
First pitch swinging is Tyler Duke. So now 2 pitches and 2 swings for Nolan Monahan, who has a 4.15 ERA, only 8 2/3 innings pitched. As another swing, and this one's lifted out into right field, moving on his horses, Brooks, but that goes foul. A long way for Nick Brooks in right field, and a favorable outcome for Monahan and the Miners.
Yeah, the wind seems to be blowing that way now from left field. So anytime you get some air under it, it's definitely going to slice over into foul territory. Would have been a tough play for Brooks, but excellent hustle trying to get over there.
Back to Monahan and the stats, has 6 strikeouts to 6 walks, and has allowed 7 hits. The 0-2 swung on and fouled off again. So Duke, 3 straight foul balls, as the count is at no balls and 2 strikes with 1 away here in the top of the 6th inning. Monahan's pitch taken in the turf for ball 1. Last time Monahan appeared on the mound was on July 4th against the Oilers. It was in a 8-2 loss, as the first time the Miners were down in Kenai. 1-2, swung on and missed, strike 3. Nolan Monahan sits 1 down on strikes, as now that is the 6th.
And Nolan,
eighth strikeout on the day. Sorry.
Was high school teammates with Hank Boyer. Nolan actually in a regional championship pursuit through 2 back-to-back no-hitters.
An impressive feat from Nolan Monahan, as now he faces Michael Yorg, a lefty on lefty matchup. Monahan from the windup, he deals a check swing. Did he go? He did not. Count goes even at 1 ball and 1 strike.
So a lot of perfect innings we've seen this game, thanks to a lot of new pitchers being thrown in the mix.
1-1 ground ball over to first. Josh Hatcher takes a couple steps and will take it all the way to first base for the third out. Monahan sits down the Oilers 1-2-3 here in the top of the 6th inning. Matsu Miners come to the plate in the bottom of the 6th. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
The Alaskan Railroad and Operation Lifesaver would like to remind our friends and neighbors when approaching a railroad crossing, always expect to train. Look, listen, live.
Hey, I'm Tyler Bassetti. I'm from Nevada, Reno, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Baseball.
Bottom of the 6th inning, only 1 more to play between the Matsu Miners and the Peninsula Oilers. Of course, new man on the mound, Rick Lefts. He replaces Andrew Lopez, who got 4 strikeouts in 1 inning. Allowed 1 hit, no runs, and no walks. Rick Lefts out of Topeka, Kansas, and Colorado State Pueblo, where he was a senior. 2.7 ERA, 1 loss on the record, 13 games, all coming in relief appearances. 4 saves on the season, 13 and a third innings pitched, 6 strikeouts to 7 walks, and has allowed 8 hits. For Rick Lefts, he will face Spencer Henson, Nick Brooks, and Josh Hatcher, the 2 big boppers in the Miners order. Henson so far today, 1 for 2. And the one, it was a hot shot off the bat, but we're not going to call it a lucky hit, as the left fielder Calvin Ferris kind of fell down. Still a very quality line drive out into left, just a little assisted by the left fielder.
Yeah, it really was. As Spencer mentioned, seeing the ball quite well. Got a hit already earlier today. The scouts definitely impressed with his numbers, so they want to see firsthand over these next 2 days what he's all about.
First pitch into Henson, a big cut at the pitch from Rick Lefts for strike 1. Rick Lefts did see the Miners on July 7th, where he took the loss, allowed 1 run on 1 hit. It was not earned. Also had a walk and faced 6 batters. As the count is at no balls and 1 strike, the pitch swung on, line drive into right field, slicing towards the line and diving, making the play is Matthew Kirk. A nice play from Kirk to take a base hit and maybe more away from Spencer Henson.
And you got to love the effort and hustle out there over in right field by Matthew Kirk. Even though this game doesn't have a lot on the line record-wise and team-wise, it's still important, as we've just talked about many times before. Bragging rights, you're playing the first-place ABL Miners. You want to show out, especially in front of the scouts.
So now Nick Brooks out of Gonzaga, recently just graduated. Rick Lefts with the mustache, pitching from the stretch, and a swing and a miss from Brooks. Another big hack out of all. 0-1 the count with one down. Here in the bottom of the sixth inning, ball game still tied at 1 between the Miners and the Oilers, as this game does not count for anything, league standings or otherwise. The 0-1 taken inside for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike against Nick Brooks.
Brooks, we've been waiting to see that power all season long so far out of him from the dish. Gotta wonder, it's gotta come sooner rather than later.
Brooks, a recent addition to the Miners lineup, as the 1-1 is taken for a called strike. A breaking ball, it gets over. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 1 out. Here in the bottom of the sixth inning, Josh Hatcher due up next. Returning out to his first base coaching duties, Tyler LeBrun. The 1-2 swung on. This one's a hot shot deep into center field. Turning around is Tyler Duke, but he's able to make the catch, as that's the second out here in the bottom of the sixth. Josh Hatcher now at the plate.
Yeah, the Miners have Casper coaching third base this inning. As Tyler Braun, you can consider coaching first base. He's close to the dugout than he is actually in that first base coaching box.
Do not see where the manager Ben Taylor has disappeared to. They be in the dugout or otherwise. First pitch into Josh Hatcher is low and away, bounces in the turf and away from the catcher ball home.
Well, when you play these showcase games, there's not a whole lot of strategy in trying to win involved, so not necessarily a important fixture to have skipper Ben Taylor out on third, other than just moral support. So makes sense why he'd be in the dugout, just wanting to chat around with his guys.
The 1-0 taken low, 2 balls and no strikes. Hatcher on the day, 0 for 2, a strikeout, and also grounded out to first. As Rec Left's 2-0 is taken high, 3 straight balls into Josh Hatcher. Infield playing deep as they are all the way back. Outfield straight away. Looks like another Miner is warming up in the pen. The 3-0 from Rec Left swung on and bounced straight back and out of play.
Josh Hatcher using different batting gloves now than what he started with and what he's been using all season with the Miners.
Some people just get superstitious. Sometimes one thing may get somebody going. 3-1 the count, 2 outs. Pitch into Hatcher is taken for ball 4. High and away as Rec Lefts walks the first Miners batter the whole game.
Yeah, nice job by Josh Hatcher there, staying patient. Probably does want to get a hit in front of the scouts, but you still got to be true to yourself and bat as you would in a normal game. Keep it as regular as possible. So a nice job of looking at pitches, and that shows your plate discipline.
Rec Lefts will now deal with the switch hitting Danny Wright, who had a triple back in the second inning. First pitch into him hits the outside corner for a strike. Danny 1 for 2. The triple where he came around to score off a Tyler Bassetti RBI single, and then grounded out to second base. 0-1 the count to Danny Wright. Pitch from Rec Left swung on and fisted straight back. Nay, sounded like something cracked down below. Evan Berkey retrieving the foul ball behind the plate. 0-2 the count to Danny Wright with a runner on first base here in the bottom of the sixth inning. Miners won, the Oilers won. The long hold. Now Rec Lefts is ready. This one's hit out into deep right center field. Chasing all the way back is center fielder Tyler Duke, who is able to make the catch in front of the subway sign in right center field. That's the third out here in the bottom of the sixth inning. No score change has been recorded. It's Miners 1, the Oilers 1. We're heading towards the top of the seventh. Manager Ben Taylor was out there. He is just chatting along the third base line. We'll return when the top of the seventh is ready to get going. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio.
What's up, guys? This is Spencer Henson, infielder at Oral Roberts University, and you're listening to Mat2 Miners Radio.
It's the top of the 7th inning. We are only going 7. Even if this game remains tied, it's the Miners 1, Oilers 1. Number 6, Evan Berkey stands in against the Miners closer, Bryce Tossan. Tossan looking to show off his lively arm as he leads the league in saves with 7. First pitch in is swinging and fouling straight back. Evan Berkey. Tossan out of Walker, Louisiana, from southeastern Louisiana, has a 1-2 win-loss record, but as a closer, that doesn't really matter. A 1.12 ERA, and swinging and popping it high out into left field. Wind is blowing in, so Danny Wright will have to come all the way in, almost into the infield. Does hit the turf, as that's the first out.
Yeah, definitely a tough play out there in left field because of that wind coming in, but Danny Wright did an excellent job of really tracking it and moving along with the ball and beating it to the spot.
Tossan, 14 games, all coming in relief. 7 saves, best in the ABL. 16 innings pitched, 20 strikeouts, to only 4 walks. A very nice strikeout to walk ratio, and 11 hits allowed. As now he pitches in to Matthew Kirk. Maybe a little cross up between Tossan and David Avitia, as Avitia runs out to just talk to Bryce and make sure they're on the right page. As Bryce is now the 6th pitcher in this game. We started with Denver McQuarrie, moved on along through Hank Boyer, Jake Terry, Jacob Butcher, Nolan Monahan, and now Bryce Tossan as a pitch misses for ball 2. Fastball hits the outside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike. Tossan last came in relief and got a save against the Pilots when the Miners won on July 10th. A 5-3 victory. As the 2-1, the fastball misses low and away. The Tossan, 1 pitch away from walking Matthew Kirk. 3-1 from the windup. Tossan's pitch is taken all the way for a strike 2. Kirk threw the bat away. So now someone will have to retrieve it and hand it back to him. Ball might have been a little low, but it was a perfect spot for home plate umpire Brad Polk to make the call. The 3-2 on the way, swung on and found straight back. Hits the top of the grandstand here at Mulcahy Stadium. And once again, we're only going 7 innings between the Miners and Oilers, no matter what happens. In the showcase game, the 1-1, this one's line drive out into left center field, falling fast and not being able to make a catch is Danny Wright. He gets it in the hole as he throws in. Connor Denning applies the tag, but it's not in time, as it's a 1-out double for Matthew Kirk off of Bryce Tossan. So Kirk picks up 2 hits today. He's 2 for 3. As Bronson Ballholm now stands in at the plate, the catcher. Ballholm is 0 for 1. He walked back in the 2nd inning, and then also grounded out to shortstop. Tossan pitching from the stretch, and he deals. First pitch is a fastball that misses low and away for ball 1 on Bryce Ballholm, and David Avitia once again wanting to go out and talk to his pitcher, make sure we're all good, as it appears they are. 1 ball, no strikes, and 1 out. Runner on second base here on the top of the 7th inning between the Miners and the Oilers. Dawson looks back, and now he deals. Swung and a miss by Ballholm. 1-1 the count.
Real nice pitch there from Bryce Tossan. A great breaker that started low and then just kept riding inside on Ballholm. So it's been a real tough pitch to hit.
Tossan's 1-1 is on the way. Swung on, line drive out into left field. That falls for a base hit. Danny Wright charging, making the throw, and holding at third is Matthew Kirk. But on first base, runners are at the corners. Kirk is at third. Bronson Ballholm with a single. He's on first.
So now 3 times the Oilers have gotten runners on the corners. The Miners have done a good job getting out of it for the most part, only allowing that one run.
Already saw one double play. That was off the bat of Brian Wu, who's on deck. Actually, check that. He's at the plate right now. Got to keep up with the book. First pitch into Brian Wu is for a ball. So Wu grounded into a 1-6-3 double play back in the second inning. Also had a hit in the fifth as he faces Bryce Tossan, swinging a miss. Brian Wu is behind in the count. No balls, 2 strikes, and 1 out. For the Oilers, 1 run on 6 hits, no errors. Miners, 1 run on 5 hits, and no errors for themselves. Runners are at the corners against Bryce Tossan here in the top of the 7th inning. The hole in the pitch to Brian Wu swung on, fouled off left side, and out of play.
Bryce has definitely come on in huge situations in that closing role for the Miners, has excelled that way.
0-2 the count. The pitch high for ball 1. Looks like Jake Terry and Jonathan Guardado are enjoying themselves out in the Miners' dugout. Watching Bryce Tossan pitch. The 1-2 swung on and fouled off left side. That goes out of play. Danny Wright takes a couple steps towards it, but realizes there's no chance. Infield is playing back in double play depth. Left field and center field. And Danny Wright and Braden Merritt are not shallow, but not too deep either. Nick Brooks is deep in right field. Bryce Tossan, the 1-2. The delivery outside. 2-2. Now the count.
Making sense for Brooks to be back just a little bit, considering Wu is a left-handed batter. So the pull is going to go a little farther, most likely, than an oppo shot.
2-2. The pitch high and away for ball 3. So Bryce Tossan, after getting ahead on Brian Wu, has fallen down into the count. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 1 away and runners at the corners here in the final inning of play, as this one is swung on and missed by Wu. He might have foul tipped it, but it went right into the glove of David Avitia, as the Miners are 1 out away from ensuring this game is tied.
Yeah, real nice fastball by Tossan as he delivered it into Wu and almost dared him to try to hit the fastball.
As now Paul Kunst comes into the game. He pinch hits for Grant Wood. The first pitch into Kunst is on the outside corner for a strike. Kunst at the plate. Over on first is Bronson Bauholm, and Matthew Kirk is on third. This one, a hopper over to second base. Denon goes the easy route towards second, where Tyler Bassetti was covering, and the Miners ensure that this game remains out and 1 between themselves. Oilers 1 as we head into the bottom of the 7th inning, the final inning of play, no matter what happens in the showcase game here at Mulcahy Stadium. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio.
Hey, I'm Tyler Bassetti. I'm from Nevada, Reno, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Baseball.
It's the bottom of the 7th inning. Ball game tied up at 1 between the Oilers and Miners. Tyler Bassetti will lead things off. It'll be Bassetti, Avitia, and Tristan Woods all due up in the inning. No matter what happens here, it can only be a draw or a win, as the Oilers will not come to the plate in the top of the 8th should this remain tied. It's the showcase game here in Anchorage, Alaska, between the Miners and the Oilers. 20-plus MLB scouts watching all the great talent from across the nation. Some of the best collegiate baseball players here in the Alaskan Baseball League and seeing what they have to offer. As the first pitch into Tyler Bassetti is swinging and fouling it straight back. Brent Rickliff's day is done, as now Justin Jaime is on the mound for the Oilers. As the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike to Tyler Bassetti. Justin Jaime out of Jamul, California, and CSU Pueblo, where he was a senior, is 1-0 on the season, a 5.52 ERA in 11 games, 10 of them coming in relief appearances. As 1-1 is swung on by Bassetti. 1-2 the count.
You mentioned the immense talent here in the ABL. It's been called the Cape Cod of the West. A lot of the great West Coast players always like to come up here in the Alaska Baseball League and show off their talents.
It's 1-2 swung on. This one lifted deep out into left field, moving back towards a wall, and having room is making the catch Tyler Duke, the center fielder. So Tyler Bassetti got a hold of it, just couldn't get enough of it, as it's a long F8 out into left center field.
And the wind will win again. Has got a little too much wind under that one, Bassetti did. The wind isn't there. That's definitely most likely a double, if not gets over the wall. But it just pulled it back, and Duke did a nice job of playing it.
So now David Avitia stands in, takes the first pitch from Justin Jaime in for a ball. Jaime has 1 save, 14 2/3 of an innings pitched, 8 strikeouts to 1 walk, and has allowed 20 hits. Avitia swings, fouls it off, right side and out of play. David is 0 for 2 today, 2 strikeouts. Struck out against Fish and then Lopez. 1-1 is the count. Pitch from Jaime, held on to it just a bit as it goes to the backstop.
Yeah, tried to deliver the fastball, but as you just mentioned, in the follow-through, having too much grip on it, therefore missing well outside. So Avitia looking to get going today. Now going to back to the no batting gloves look.
2-1 is taken all the way for a strike. 2-2 the count to David Avitia. Nobody on base here in the bottom of the 7th inning. 1 out. As a 2-2 swung on, this one's poked out into right field, slicing into foul territory, coming in and hitting the fence, but not making the catch is Matthew Kirk. He went a long way to try to go and get that, but he was unable to do so.
Avitia, a guy that came into this season, said does not normally wear batting gloves, but changed that approach, trying to fix his woes. And now going back to the natural no batting gloves look, so maybe that'll help turn the season around.
Arriving at the field is the Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks for their game that will follow. I see standing our fellow broadcaster Kevin Moore has a 2-2 swung on and fouled straight back. So Avitia looking to get on base the first time today. That was a 2-2. Held to swing for ball 3. Avitia working a full count against Justin Jaime.
Yeah, Avitia doing a nice job against Jaime here, really working the count, fouling pitches off when need be, showing off that he, just like Josh Hatcher did earlier, has some nice plate discipline.
The 3-2 taken for a ball. It was high and inside. Avitia looked back to Brad Polk to see if he was going to ring him up. He did not. So David Avita works the count full and is able to reach base. Tristan Woods, who did reach base his last time up, although he did strike out. He struck out, and then it was a wild pitch. And he was able to run down to first as he holds his swing, but it's in for a called strike against Justin Jaime.
Now the coaching is on full force at first and third.
This is the last chance for the Miners to try to win this, as they will not go deeper into the game. Tristan Woods looks at another called strike. No balls, 2 strikes into Tristan Woods.
You know, a little bit of strategy we thrown in, not too much, to maybe salvage a run.
The pitch in, swung on and missed, strike 3. So Woods goes down swinging again. As now Braden Merritt will look to put the Miners on top here in the bottom of the 7th inning, with the Miners tied with the Oilers 1-1. And as we've mentioned before, we'll say it again, this game is only going 7 and no more, as first pitch swinging that off-speed pitch is Braden Merritt. Merritt laid down a nice bunt in the 5th for an infield single, as he is 1 for 3 in today's showcase game.
Yeah, it really was a nice bunt. Jaime with that breaking ball working now got Woods to strike out.
As there's another swing and a miss off the bat of Braden Merritt. Justin Jaime had an count, no balls, 2 strikes with 2 away, and 1 runner on for the Miners here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Jaime from the stretch. He looks down, gets a signal. That pitch is swung on and missed, strike 3, and the ball game is over. The Miners and the Oilers end this one tied, as now a new field, a new team will take the field. Once again, your final. It's a draw in 7 innings between the Miners and the Oilers. This game does not count except for a little bragging rights and for the showcase. Now, before we let you go, Brad, who really showed what they had today for the Miners in front of all these scouts?
Well, I would have to say that it would just be the pitching overall. The batting wasn't quite prevalent and really on either side, but the Miners pitchers really showed out, much like they've done all season long, and they proved it here. Only working not a lot of innings of relief, and it's tough in this showcase, just guys not playing for the first time in a while, especially seeing these new pitchers. So it's not really true of these batters, because we talked about it before. Normally you'll see a starter for 2 to 3 at-bats and then a relief man, but much of that today, you're only seeing one pitcher, so it's hard to gauge on whether whatsoever. So I would have to say it's the pitching, but it's really hard to tell.
Yeah, pitching did very well. Of course, seeing Hank Boyer out there pitching a perfect inning. Great to see him back out on the mound again. Tristan Woods getting a start, trying to get his swing down in live gameplay. And, you know, the one guy I'll point out is Spencer Henson, who had a couple rockets off his bat, but just one hit. Line drives, of course, is what scouts like to see. It's a swing, it's the mechanics, maybe not totally the results. So a nice job for the Miners today and the Oilers as this game ends tied at 1. We'll be back here at Mulcahy Stadium tomorrow for their game against the Anchorage Bucks. It's another showcase game before the All-Star game happening on Sunday. So for Brad Walker, I'm Connor Mills. We'll see you next time.